retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boy, you love with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. Things that they hate to see. Just like a weed.
It's a little later than usual. But we are rocking, we are rolling. The sun is still out. Thankfully, we're here. We're going to have a nice, fun time. And in case you guys may have forgotten, it's Saturday. You know what that means. We're live! Ladies and gentlemen, I am the one and only DJ Storms. And I would like to welcome each and every single one of you to a very, very, very special edition late afternoon stream. Here streaming live on 4 different platforms, 7 different accounts. We are here. We're going to have a fun time. No lightning flash update, if you guys were not aware, because there was a premium live event by the name of NXT Stand and Deliver in the afternoon, which started at 1, and it is just gone off the air. And now we are set for a very special dual rewind. And yes, I'm well aware, StreamYard absolutely fucking sucks. I'm well aware. StreamYard fucking sucks. And unfortunately, this is what we are going to have to deal with. I am going to have to figure out what the deal is, so that way we'll be able to stream normally once again. Hopefully one day we'll be able to stream it normally, but unfortunately, this is what we have to deal with because StreamYard wants to be a bunch of fucking assholes. But I thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you guys are doing very, very well. We are going to talk about NXT Stand and Deliver and Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. I'm not going to go in depth on everything. Specifically because it would legitimately be impossible for me to dive in depth on everything that took place over the course of fucking, how many, 20 matches? Nearly 20 matches? At least 18, 19, 20 matches, somewhere in between that, spread across the course of 2 shows, across 2 days. It would legitimately be impossible for me to do so. So I'm going to give my thoughts on everything one by one, but I thank you all for joining. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you are following me on social media at History Maker DJS. That is at History Maker DJS. That is both on Twitter and Instagram. Please go check those out. And, of course, you can add me on Facebook for collaborations and business inquiries. Please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, all of those links are in the description, as well as the links to my friend Brittany K's social media. Brittany K, she is an official sponsor, an official advocate of the DJ Storms brand. She does phenomenal drawings, designs, and edits from scratch on her iPad. It has many, many, many designs, including the likes of Jay Briscoe and Brody Lee and the classic Wyatt family and Karrion Kross and Scarlett. She also does Twitter Abbeys and Twitter banners if you want to go and check her out. She is a wonderful human being. So thank you to Brittany K for being an official sponsor and an advocate for the DJ Storms brand. Shout out to Dee Raphael, and Mac the Giants fan. Mac the Giants fan, who was also my guest this past Thursday on the rundown for WrestleMania Night Number 1. WrestleMania Night Number 1 will be streaming live tonight. We'll be streaming live tonight at 8 p.m. and then tomorrow night at 8 p.m. as well. We got 2-night WrestleManias. I do not like the 2-night WrestleManias. And yes, Dee, I'm well aware. I'm well aware that it's lagging because StreamYard absolutely fucking sucks. So hopefully we be able to, move past that. We'll be able to get a very, very, very nice, streaming software. In due time, hopefully I can find one that I don't have to pay too much for, something that is actually pretty decent in the long run and something that will not lag up on me. But regardless, this is what we will have to deal with so far, and I hope that it will not take away from what we are going to talk about when it comes to NXT Stand and Deliver and Supercard of Honor. Of course, like the stream, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube, and of course, be sure that you share it out on all platforms of social media. Share it out on all platforms of social media, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere, Twitch as well, any social media platforms that you may be using because it is vital that we get as many people on the chat as possible, no matter where they're watching from. Of course, please make sure if you're watching on Hardcore Sports YouTube or my YouTube channel, hit the like button. It is vital that you hit the like button because that way it will help me out, it will help the stream out, it will help the brand out. Please make sure that you do so. And, of course, hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace. That way you will know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. The only time that you're going to get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination. Beautiful mustache right here. Give me 1 second because I know you want to bring out the comb. Got to bring out the comb for WrestleMania weekend. And you got to light it up right here on the stream with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like hot chicken tenders right out of the oven, I'm just so good. It is going to be a good day. It's going to be a good weekend, especially tomorrow, because tomorrow is the most important date in human history, that being my birthday. We will go live for the rewind for WrestleMania Night Number 1. That is tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then, of course, we got the rewind for Night Number 2. That is on Monday, April 3rd, also at 2 p.m. So I greatly appreciate all the support you guys have given me throughout WrestleMania week. And I appreciate all the early birthday wishes as well. We are going to have a great time. We are going to get right into Supercard of Honor. We're going to talk about the happenings at Supercard of Honor. And Tony Khan once again showing up and showing out with another very, very good pay-per-view on the Ring of Honor side of things. If I was to pick out a negative, it would probably be the crowd. And that being because some of these matches were just so fucking good that it actually took away from other matches on the show, specifically the opening match, the match Briscoe and Samoa Joe, and then the Reach for the Sky ladder match. Those 3 matches were so good that they actually took away from some of the other matches on the show, and the crowd was actually a little burnt out. Crowd wasn't that good for Stand and Deliver either. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on in LA, but LA, not that good of a wrestling town. I'm not sure what happened because they used to be very, very good. But it seems as though LA was slacking this weekend a little bit. LA was slacking this weekend a little bit. I don't know why. I really didn't want to start off the show on a negative, but I feel like I need to talk about this because it seems to have everybody in a fucking uproar. It seems to have everybody in a fucking uproar. Dante Martin, he took a Canadian destroyer. He took a Canadian destroyer off of the top rope. Well, actually, off the top of a fucking ladder bridge, if we're going to be quite honest. He took it off the top of a fucking ladder bridge, and on the Canadian destroyer by Penta, he fell through the tables, and his left ankle just completely rolled out of place. I've seen video. It was legitimately dangling from his leg. It looked like a fucking dead fish just hanging from his leg. It was not visually appealing. I do not recommend that any of you go out of your way and seek it out. The one thing that pissed me off about this, not that he got injured. Did the spot need to happen? No. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the one thing that pissed me off the most about this is because there were people legitimately going out of their way to use this injury for Dante Martin. They used Dante Martin's injury deliberately as an excuse to shit on the Ring of Honor brand and everyone involved in that match and in that show, saying, oh, these are why I can't watch these shows, or it's too much of an indie spot fest. Oh, they need more storytelling to the shows. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking serious right now with this shit? A man legitimately just got injured. One of the brightest young prospects in professional wrestling today just got injured, and you're fucking worried about, oh yeah, I can't watch these shows. Oh, this is too much indie garbage. Oh my God. Oh, you need more storytelling. How fucking disgusting are you? These people legitimately, this is just part of the reason why I don't respect a single living soul. This is why I don't respect anyone. Why the fuck are you worrying about whether or not you're going to watch the show? You apparently don't like it. Okay, go watch some bullshit that we saw today on NXT Stand and Deliver. Go fucking jerk off to fucking Alba Fire and Isla Dawn while they beat Aaron Henley and Kiana James for worthless tag titles. Fucking worried. Oh, no one's gonna talk about this shit. Really? Are you talking about Stand and Deliver or Supercard of Honor? You have a man that rolled his fucking ankle completely out of the fucking socket, and you are fucking worried about storytelling. Oh, this is why I can't watch these shows. All this fucking bullshit. You should be praying to the God up above that man just made it out with a broken ankle. Now, did the spot need to happen? No. The spot did not need to happen. Could it have been executed better? Absolutely. Did they think it through? No. It could have been well more thought through. You could have made do with a pile driver where his head would have at least been protected by Penta's body and his legs would have been up in the air, and you would have had zero problems with the legs. Or you could have just done a standard superplex. That would have worked out a hell of a lot better too. Maybe you could have jumped off the top rope. Maybe you could have put a ladder on the stage and just jumped off the ladder. Or did a fucking suplex off of the ladder. That would have been fine. Did it need to happen? No. It did not need to happen. It was pointless and it could have been executed a hell of a lot better. But don't you fucking dare use this shit as an excuse to shit on a brand that has been working its fucking ass off, that just got a new television deal, hasn't even established itself yet, ever since COVID destroyed it, and ever since that Tony Khan bought it and he needed to make do with what he had. On top of that, 10 men just fucking killed each other in that match to give you one of the best matches of the weekend, and you're gonna let a single injury spot ruin a show for you and ruin a brand for you. And on top of that, then there's people that want to say, oh yeah, well, we need more storytelling. Meanwhile, if you actually fucking paid attention, you would have realized that at Supercard of Honor, we got the beginning stages forming for two major storylines going forward on Ring of Honor into the next pay-per-view. The story of Mark Briscoe and the story of Eddie Kingston, which we will talk about a little bit later on. But no, you want to focus on, storytelling. You need more storytelling. If you paid attention, then there would have been. People that are going to use this shit to shit on the Ring of Honor brand, and they're going to use this shit to shit on the show altogether, when in reality, we got a great show last night. You are exactly what is wrong with professional wrestling. It happens every fucking time. Nearly every single injury in professional wrestling, people are literally fucking outraged, and they start blaming everybody. And they start coming up with all these fucking excuses. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there that shit on Dante Martin and his injury. Meanwhile, they praised Cody Rhodes for wrestling a Hell in a Cell match with a fucking torn pec. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes should have never been sent out there. They're praising Cody Rhodes' performance back at Hell in a Cell. Oh my God, such a heroic performance. Meanwhile, if he would have fucked up, he could have injured Seth Rollins. Everyone in WWE should be fucking ashamed of themselves for letting Cody Rhodes do that. They're lucky that nothing happened in that match. Lucky. Unfucking believable. Did the spot need to happen? No. The spot didn't need to happen, and we did not need to get that. It could have been executed a lot better. But don't you fucking dare do that shit to try and shit on the work that all of those individuals put into that match, and all the individuals involved in that show did as well. Don't you fucking dare. You're what's fucking wrong with professional wrestling. Thoughts and prayers go out to Dante Martin. Now, the ladder match itself, minus that injury to Dante Martin. I may as well talk about the ladder match first. Excellent ladder match. Was it the best? No. Matter of fact, I'm going to say that the Face of the Revolution ladder match was actually better than what we got at Supercard of Honor. But nonetheless, every single one of those individuals, they worked their fucking ass off in that match, and it was a very nice tribute to Jay Briscoe, and it resulted in the Lucha Bros winning the tag team championships. And I don't mind that at all, because I think that the Lucha Bros were not really going anywhere on Ring of Honor, on AEW television. They weren't really going anywhere on AEW television. They just lost the Trios championships, and they really didn't have a place on AEW because they were losing to Powerhouse Hobbs in TNT Championship Open challenges. So at the end of the day, it really didn't make much sense for them to stay full-time on AEW. Meanwhile, now that they're in Ring of Honor, and you got them as the tag team champions, that could very well open up the doors for a lot of new matches, a lot of new programs, and it's going to give them something to do. So now I would have preferred Top Flight to win, but I cannot shit on the Lucha Bros winning, and I think that Mark Briscoe would not have had it any other way. I think that the Briscoes would have been very, very proud of what those teams did. And on top of that, seeing FTR come out with Mark Briscoe to present the Lucha Bros with the tag team titles, that was a very, very genuine, a very heartfelt moment. I thought that was very, very nice. And I have no problem with the Lucha Bros as the tag team champions, minus an unnecessary Canadian destroyer off of a ladder that could have been very well executed. But nevertheless, thoughts and prayers go out to Dante Martin. I hope that he's okay. And in the end, the Lucha Bros end up winning the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. I do not have a single problem with that. I think the Lucha Bros are going to do those titles very, very good. Just to quickly go over the 0 Hour show, we had Tracy Williams. He was defeated by Jeff Cobb. And in the end, I really do want to see more of Jeff Cobb on Ring of Honor television. Jeff Cobb is a fucking beast. Jeff Cobb is an absolute fucking beast, and he is so versatile. Jeff Cobb is so versatile. You could put that man anywhere, and he will fit. He will fit like a glove. He will make do with everything, every fucking thing. He will legitimately make do with anything that you give him. And I was very, very pleased to see Jeff Cobb on Ring of Honor. I want to see more of Jeff Cobb on Ring of Honor. Willie Mack and Konosuke Takeshita, they put on an awesome match. It only went about 10 minutes. But it was an awesome, awesome, awesome match. And I want to see these two on Ring of Honor going forward, especially Konosuke Takeshita. I'm telling you right now, when Konosuke Takeshita inevitably wins the championship, he is going to really make do with that championship, whichever championship that he wins. And he is really going to do a lot for said championship, whether it be in Ring of Honor, whether it be in AEW. I think Konosuke Takeshita, he's a legit fucking stud at what he does. And they put on a very solid match on the 0 Hour pre-show. We had Miranda Alizé versus Willow Nightingale. Really nothing of substance here. Nothing special at all. Kind of boring, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Willow Nightingale gets the win, and it looks like they still have heavy investment for Willow Nightingale, and they could very well make her a Ring of Honor World Women's Champion in due time. Speaking of the women's division, Naomi, a.k.a. Trinity Fatu, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, was indeed backstage at Supercard of Honor, and it was confirmed by Athena during the Ring of Honor post-media scrum that indeed, she was there watching the match, and it looks like we have ourselves the next women's signee for Ring of Honor, which I have absolutely no issue with whatsoever. I think that is a fantastic fucking move. And I honestly do believe that we are going to see a lot, and I mean a lot of good material coming out of Trinity, aka Naomi, in the Ring of Honor women's division. Matter of fact, I would not be shocked at all. If Trinity is the one to dethrone Miss Athena for the women's championship. And then we got Stu Grayson versus Slim J. That main evented the 0 Hour. Listen, I know some people are going to write off Slim J because, oh my God, he's part of the Trust Busters. But Slim J's a very good wrestler. And not only that, he's a very, very good seller. Slim J is a great seller. He legitimately makes his opponents look great. I remember on the first episode of Ring of Honor back in the beginning of March, on March 2nd, I believe it was Slim J and Mark Briscoe to open the show, and we saw Slim J do a complete fucking 360 backflip as Mark Briscoe gave him a big boot. If he sells a big boot like that right there is a great hand to help make his opponents look great. He makes his opponents look like $1 million. So I respect Slim J. He put on a fun little match with Stu Grayson, but in the end, the Righteous made their return to Ring of Honor. The Righteous, a.k.a. Vincent and Dutch, no Bateman. I'm not sure where Bateman is, but I want to see Bateman back in Ring of Honor, and I want to see the Righteous go up against the Embassy for the World Six-Man Tag Team Championships. That's what I want to see. We need the Righteous back in Ring of Honor full-time, and we need the Righteous going up against the Embassy for the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Championships. That right there would be fantastic. Kind of a weak 0 Hour, but the biggest thing to come out of the 0 Hour, and maybe the biggest thing to come out of the show, period, Nigel McGuinness. You heard me correctly. Nigel McGuinness, formerly from NXT, is now a part of the Ring of Honor commentary team with Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman. That right there has to be one of the best, and I mean one of the absolute fucking best signings that Tony Khan has ever fucking made. That right there is fucking awesome. That right there is great. And I could not be happier to see Nigel McGuinness back in Ring of Honor and commentating for Ring of Honor. And he's going to add so much to the brand altogether. And you can tell Nigel was fucking happy. I really do hope. I see you, Hula Grim. I really do hope that Nigel was not a one-off. I hope that he is there full-time with Ring of Honor because the show absolutely is better with him. Let's talk about the main show. We got Elijo Del Vikingo versus Commander for the AAA Mega Championship. Absolutely fucking insane. I don't even know how these two are considered human. These two guys were doing fucking 630s and implosion ranas and fucking implosion phoenix splashes and fucking shooting stars and Canadian destroyers off the fucking top rope. Absolutely unfucking believable. I don't even understand how these two are still alive at this rate. These two guys are legitimately pulled from a fucking video game. It's like if I played WWE 2K23, which I do not play it because I don't play video games anymore. If I pulled someone from there, if I pulled one of my created characters from there and I put them in real life and they could just be doing all these fucking crazy moves. Also, Raging Girl Gamer in the shout out to Rage. Rage is awesome. Thoughts and prayers to you, Rage. I hope that you are doing okay. I know that it's been hard dealing with the loss of your mother. Of course, I have my heart being sent to you, and I know that Hula Grim, he's sending his heart to you. We all love you, Rage. We all love you, Rage. So keep on pushing forward. Thoughts and prayers always going out to you. But back to Vikingo and Commander. Over here. I don't know how these fucking guys do it. I'm legitimately running out of words in the English language to discuss how incredible Vikingo and Commander really are. One spot where he did a 630, the same 630 that he did to Omega on Dynamite, and he did it on a table to Commander. The table didn't break. That must have sucked for fucking Commander. Commander, I don't know how the fuck he does it. He did a fucking inverted Phoenix splash. Somehow that wasn't the end of the match because Vikingo grabbed the rope. Vikingo then with a spinning side slam off the top rope, and Vikingo with a beautiful 630 senton connecting on the fucking money, and Vikingo retains the AAA Mega Championship. One hell of a fucking match. And probably the best way to open Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor. And if anything, this actually took away from the next two matches that followed. And the next match to follow was the Embassy versus AR Fox and Metalik and Blake Christian. Fun match. Went about 8-9 minutes, but really nothing over the top. These two trios were put in a very, very, very tough spot to follow the unbelievable opener between Commander and Vikingo. But I think that they did fairly okay. They gave us a fun match. Wasn't really anything crazy. It wasn't really unpredictable to me. But if anything, it was probably unpredictable to some individuals because some individuals were wondering whether Brian Cage was going to re-sign or not. Now, Dave Meltzer apparently reported that Brian Cage was set to drop the World Six-Man Championships to AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik, and that was going to be it. But apparently, it looks like Dave Meltzer was wrong. And the Embassy end up retaining. And not only did the Embassy retain, it was Brian Cage that got the victory with a drill claw on Metalik. It was Brian Cage that got the victory. So that I actually found very, very telling. And I'm happy if Brian Cage is indeed staying in Ring of Honor. I think that is great because the Embassy are fucking amazing. The Embassy are absolutely fucking amazing. The Embassy, probably one of my favorite acts in all of professional wrestling right now. Honest to God, I do not know. I really do not know how the Embassy has not gotten more recognition than they already have. They are absolutely fucking awesome in every way, shape, and form, and they deserve a lot more than what they are getting right now. And I do believe that in the end, when the Embassy drop the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships, they will indeed be getting called up to AEW television. And if you ask me, I would love to see the Embassy versus the House of Black. I think that that would be one hell of a fucking match. That would be one crazy, crazy fucking clash of the Titans, if you ask me. And if we get the House of Black versus the Embassy for the AEW World Trios Championships, that right there is one thing that I think a lot of people are going to come out and support, because I don't think that many people really are too invested in what the House of Black is doing right now. And I do believe that they want some more excitement. They want some new blood in the AEW World Trios division, especially after the Elite dropped the titles. So I think that the Embassy, after they drop the Ring of Honor World 6-man tag team titles, I think that being called up to AEW television and working with the House of Black, that would be a great program. But we got a fun match. Really nothing that you're going to go back and rewatch, but a fun match nonetheless between the Embassy, AR Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian, and the Embassy retain the World 6-man tag team titles of Ring of Honor, as they should. Yuka Sakazaki and Athena. Yuka Sakazaki and Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. Kind of similar to the Trios Championship match. It was kind of a little bit of a lackluster match to start, not because the wrestling was bad, but because the crowd was just so taken out of it after what Commander and Vinkingo did. But in the end, I think these two women actually turned out a very good match. And Yuka Sakazaki, here's what I will say about Yuka Sakazaki. I honestly do not believe that Yuka Sakazaki gets enough credit. I do not believe that Yuka Sakazaki gets enough credit. And I honestly do think that Yuka Sakazaki, she is very, very underrated. I think that she is very underrated. And Yuka Sakazaki, she adds a lot to the women's division. She is a very good wrestler. I know a lot of people might not be all too high on Yuka Sakazaki because, she's a fucking Joshi, she's a Kenny Omega dream girl, this is nothing but Kenny Omega's wet dream. Yuka can wrestle. Yuka Sakazaki can fucking wrestle, and I think it's about time that a lot of people start putting some respect on Yuka Sakazaki because she is very good at her job. Athena, what can I say about Athena? Athena is an absolute fucking beast. Athena is legitimately the queen of the division. The queen of the division. No reason why Athena should have been losing. But Athena and Sakazaki, they did very well here. Athena actually pulled out a couple of impressive spots. She delivered multiple deadlift power bombs to Yuka Sakazaki, which I thought was actually very impressive. Yuka ended up catching a wheelbarrow suplex on the floor. Yuka landed high on her neck and shoulders. Athena was dropped by Yuka, and Yuka dove off of the stage, which was kind of modified. It was like a circular stage, and it had about 3 different aisles of steps to go down. And Yuka dove off the circular stage onto Athena. I thought that was a nice little spot right there. In the end, they traded some discus elbows, which was actually pretty stiff. They were delivering some stiff elbows. Yuka hit a spinning side slam. Athena kicked out. Athena then used the ref as protection. And Athena, thanks to the distraction, she delivered what was a springboard O-face. A springboard O-face out of the corner while Yuka was draped over the ropes. And Athena retains the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. A very good women's match in the end of it all. Very good women's match. Yuka, like I said, does not get enough credit. Athena may be my favorite women's wrestler in the business today. I think that she is absolutely phenomenal in every sense of the word. And in the end, Athena retains as she should. And it looks like we will indeed be seeing Athena hold that championship for the rest of the year. And in the end, I have absolutely no problem with that, because right now, Athena is the best possible individual to hold that championship. No one should be beating her. Mark Briscoe, Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor World Television Championship. And in the end, I think that these two individuals are going to be very, very happy with the outcome that they turned out here. And in the end, Mark Briscoe and Mr. Samoa Joe put on a very hard fought, a very emotional, a very, very, very well-told story. A very well-told story from the jump. And in the end, Samoa Joe shockingly retains the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, which I was actually quite surprised by. But in the end, Mark Briscoe could not get the job done on his unlucky number 9th attempt at the Honor World Television Championship. Kind of surprising. And to be quite honest with you, I don't really know how I feel about it. I'm not going to say that I hate it. But I do believe that there is a bigger story here. I do believe that what they're doing is they are trying to tell a story of struggle with Mark Briscoe, which is going to bleed into the next pay-per-view, which I believe is Death Before December. I believe that is sometime in June or July, and that is when Mark Briscoe will inevitably, finally, after all this time, Mark Briscoe will finally get the job done, and we will indeed see Mark Briscoe beat Samoa Joe for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, and that would be it. But in the end, Mark Briscoe loses. So Mark Briscoe, he was actually displaying some nice feats of strength here against Joe with a rolling Death Valley driver. Crowd was heavily behind Briscoe. Briscoe with a beautiful step-up tope con hero onto Joe. Mark Briscoe then brought out a table, delivered a blockbuster off of the apron, through the table, through Joe. Mark Briscoe then was caught with a power slam by Joe. Joe with a German suplex. Mark popped right back up. Clothesline by Samoa Joe. Mark kicked out. Mark with a boot, and he connected with the froggy bow, but Samoa Joe kicked out. Samoa Joe locked in the coquina clutch. Mark was hit with a sleeper suplex right on his neck. Samoa Joe locked in a coquina clutch again, and Mark Briscoe passes out. He did not tap out, but he passes out. And in the end, Joe ended up shaking Mark's hand, and the crowd gave Mark Briscoe a standing ovation. This is not the end. This can't be the end. The rematch is coming, and in the end, we will indeed see Mark Briscoe as the World Television Champion. We have to. There is no reason why Mark Briscoe would lose this and not come back. Mark Briscoe will come back, and Mark Briscoe will indeed become the Ring of Honor World Television Champion in due time. It just wasn't yesterday. It just wasn't Friday night. But in the end, I do believe that them telling a story of struggle with Mark Briscoe, will indeed bring a better match the next time around, and more people are going to feel more accomplished when Mark Briscoe finally wins the championship on his 10th attempt, and Samoa Joe, after he beat him the first time, Mark fighting back the next time, and he does beat Joe in the rematch at Death Before Dishonor sometime in the summer. So I initially was a little pissed, but in the end, I don't mind that Samoa Joe retained the championship, because I do believe that Mark Briscoe, and the story of Mark Briscoe is going to be told very, very nicely going forward. Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Daniel Garcia for nothing. It was the only non-title match on this show. This was good. It was good, but in the end, there was just no heat to it. There was no heat to it, and especially after what we got with Mark Briscoe and Samoa Joe, that there is absolutely no fucking way that Daniel Garcia and Hiroshi Tanahashi were going to top it. No way that they were going to top it. Absolutely no possible way that they were going to top the emotional roller coaster that we saw with Mark Briscoe and Samoa Joe. It was good. It was good. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it sucked. It was good, but there was just no heat to it. There was just no heat to it. There was just no fire to it. It was just two guys with absolutely nothing to do with each other coming on in and putting on a decent little wrestling match for the 12 minutes that it went. That was pretty much it. That was it. There was just no genuine heat. And the crowd they were out of it. They were just out of it after what we got with Briscoe and Samoa Joe. Hiroshi Tanahashi ends up winning with the frog splash, and that was pretty much it. I'm not really sure where Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to favor into Ring of Honor, but regardless of that, it does indeed look like Hiroshi Tanahashi could very well be in Ring of Honor for a little bit, and you know what? If they're doing that, I would not mind seeing him challenge for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship or the Ring of Honor World Championship. I think that they could make some decent do with the Ring of Honor World Television Championship and the Ring of Honor World Championship if they want to have Tanahashi challenge for it. And I do believe that we could definitely get some great matches with Tanahashi and Samoa Joe and Tanahashi and Claudio, since Claudio retained. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but good match. There was just no heat. Lucha Bros, Top Flight, the Kingdom Aussie Open, Roosh and Dralistico reach for the Sky Ladder match. I already talked about that in the beginning, and the match was insane with the Lucha Bros winning the tag team titles. I do not have an issue with that whatsoever. Matter of fact, the Lucha Bros are going to do those titles very, very good. Katsuyori Shibata versus Wheeler Yuta, Ring of Honor Pure Championship. This went about 13 minutes, and it was a very nice story told between Shibata and Wheeler Yuta. Moxley actually accompanied Wheeler Yuta to this match with Shibata, which actually surprised me. I didn't think that Moxley was going to be there, but apparently he was there, and in the end, shockingly, probably the most shocking outcome of the entire night, Katsuyori Shibata defeats Wheeler Yuta. Yes, you heard me correctly. Katsuyori Shibata defeats Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. The crowd was actually really against Wheeler Yuta here. There were actually some fuck you Yuta chants. Here, which actually surprised me. I did not think that we were going to get those fuck you Yuta chants, but we indeed did. We got those fuck you Yuta chants. And we also got ourselves a new Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Katsuyori Shibata ends up winning this match after a sleeper hold, which wore down Yuta, completely took him out of it, and then Shibata with a PK and a PK was enough to knock Wheeler Yuta out. Shibata is the new Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Shocking outcome, and if you ask me, I don't know if I would have done that. To me, I don't know if that was the right move to go with. I have no problem with Shibata, but it's just very, very hard for me to see Wheeler Yuta lose the Pure Championship after the Blackpool Combat Club turned heel, and you're trying to build up the Blackpool Combat Club as a formidable faction, right? You're trying to build up the Blackpool Combat Club as a formidable faction, and you're trying to build them up as, a team to not mess with, right? But yet, here they are, and you have Wheeler Yuta losing the Pure Championship. It's very, very hard for me to see Yuta lose it, especially after the recent heel turn of the Blackpool Combat Club. And Shibata, he's not signed to Ring of Honor. He's not. But apparently, on the Ring of Honor post-media scrum for Supercard, apparently Shibata said that he wants to wrestle more for Tony Khan. So maybe this could bleed into Forbidden Door. Maybe Shibata holds the Pure Championship going into Forbidden Door. Maybe we see the Ring of Honor Pure Championship defended at Forbidden Door, and Shibata ends up defeating, Shibata ends up defeating whoever is in his way up until Forbidden Door, and then maybe we get a big match at Forbidden Door with Shibata and somebody from Ring of Honor. I don't know. That's definitely something to keep our eyes out for. Could be interesting, but again, I don't know if I would have taken the title off of Wheeler Yuta. If anything, I thought that this was actually a worse decision than what happened with Mark Briscoe and Samoa Joe, because at least you have a storyline there. But with Wheeler Yuta, I don't understand why you would take the Pure Championship off of him when he was really hitting his stride as a heel. Unless the Blackpool Combat Club is getting ready to graduate from Ring of Honor. Maybe Claudio is the last individual to fully graduate from Ring of Honor onto AEW television full-time. And that moment of graduation is going to come when Kingston inevitably wins the championship. Speaking of Eddie Kingston and Claudio, they main evented the show for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And this was an excellent main event. Excellent main event between Claudio and Eddie Kingston. Crowd was heavily into it. We had some really good moves by Eddie Kingston. Claudio was giving the boots to Eddie Kingston. Exploder suplex on the floor. Steiner bulldog by Kingston for 2. Stretch plum, but Claudio got to the rope. Kicks and elbows and a lariat. Ricola bomb reversed. Back fist connected. 1-2. Claudio kicked out. Both men were on the apron. Claudio with a gut-wrench suplex off the apron to the floor. Big wind-up uppercut. Eddie kicked out. Neutralizer. Eddie kicked out at 1 from the neutralizer. All of a sudden, Eddie reversed the Ricola bomb. Eddie with a tight pin. Claudio reversed the leverage pin into a pin of his own. Feet and ankles over the shoulders, and Claudio retains the Ring of Honor World Championship. Really, really, really big time surprise for many of individuals. I actually thought that we were going to see a new Ring of Honor World Champion, but apparently no. Now, Kingston was being swarmed by Claudio and Wheeler Yuta before Shibata saved him. Kingston took the mic. He then said a bunch of curse words, and before they went off the air, Kingston said, "I am not going fucking anywhere," and Claudio, "I am going to beat your ass." So Eddie Kingston clearly is not going anywhere, and Eddie Kingston is staying in Ring of Honor for the foreseeable future. And I do believe that at Death Before Dishonor, we will indeed see Eddie Kingston take the Ring of Honor World Championship from Claudio Castagnoli. And with a lot of competition, wrestling competition on Friday night, we got ourselves a pay-per-view from Tony Khan and Ring of Honor and Super Honor in general. Very, very happy with what we got. And in the end, Tony Khan showing everyone that he knows how to do Ring of Honor. And there's a lot more freedom with Tony Khan to do what he wants with Ring of Honor, a lot of freedom to get more matches on the show and to do a lot more minus the commercials and shit. So Tony Khan, he is doing some decent stuff down on Thursday nights for Ring of Honor. And we got ourselves one hell of a Supercard of Honor. Supercard of Honor, a very, very good show with 4 matches that really stuck out to me. The main event, the opener, the ladder match, and then Samoa Joe and Mark Briscoe. I think that everyone involved with Supercard of Honor should be absolutely proud of themselves. And I can't wait for the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Ring of Honor they're doing some good stuff, man. They're doing some good stuff. The only negative I would say was probably the crowd and the fact that some of the matches just burnt the crowd out. The crowd was not as lively as it usually is. Stand and Deliver, I wish I could say the same thing. Stand and Deliver, I wish I could say the same thing, that it was actually a very good show. It wasn't. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad show. I know what a bad show is. I'm not going to sit here and say that this was a terrible show, but in the end, you know, there was no way that they were going to live up to what Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor did. No way that they were going to live up to that. And in no way, shape, or form was this show going to succeed majorly. You know, the crowd, let me tell you something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But the crowd in LA, I'm not sure what happened. It's like the crowd in LA. It's like they were just dead. I don't know what happened to LA, but it seems as though the crowd in LA just forgot that they were at a fucking wrestling show. The crowd in LA legitimately forgot that they were at a fucking wrestling show. And then this is another thing I need to say. I cannot fucking stand the 2-night WrestleMania. I fucking hate 2-night WrestleMania. If you were asking me, I really, really do believe that WWE, honest to God, they really, really, really need to consider putting WrestleMania back to one night. They really need to consider putting WrestleMania back to one night. They need to put it back to one night. They need to reduce the amount of matches. I can name you 4 matches across all of WrestleMania right now that they don't need to be on the show. Brock Lesnar and Omos doesn't need to be on the show. Damage Control versus Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, and Lita doesn't need to be on the show. And then the 2 tag team fatal 4-ways doesn't need to be on the show. It does not need to be on the show. I don't understand why it is on the show. It's stupid that it's on the show, if you ask me. It's fucking stupid. I don't like that it's on the show. I really, 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 really fucking don't. And I really don't like that it's 2 nights. WrestleMania needs to be one night. It needs to be 4 hours, 8 matches, just like they did with AEW Revolution. It was 8 matches across the course of 3 hours and 50 minutes. 8 banger matches, no filler, all thriller, no filler. And we need to make it back to one night, and we need to put Stand and Deliver on Saturday night, not Saturday afternoon, because us, the afternoon, it's the morning to them. It's the morning to them. And I don't like the fact that we have to watch not 1 but 2 wrestling shows like that in a day, back to back, on WrestleMania Saturday, because they need to do a promotional tactic for a 2-night WrestleMania, and you got to get everybody on the show. Mania needs to be one night, 8 matches, 4 hours, nothing more, nothing less, all thriller, no filler, and we need to get the NXT shows back to 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, and we need to take the afternoon show away. It's just not working. It's not there. It's just not it. It's just not it. But Stand and Deliver was not a terrible show. I've seen worse, but it's nothing that I'm going to tell you to go back and rewatch outside of 2 matches. We had Chase U and Tyler Bate versus Schism for the control of Chase U. Really a nothing match. If there was one match that I would have absolutely taken off the card, it was this match. This match was actually moved to the pre-show. Which was probably one of the best decisions that they could have possibly made. Move this to the pre-show. Absolutely the correct move. Very, very happy that they actually did. So, Tyler Bate and Andre Chase University, nothing really over the top. Nothing really over the top. I think Chase U is very, very good. But in the end, the crowd was just dead. They didn't give a shit. Schism, look, they're a group of decent pro wrestlers, but at the end of the fucking day, the characters are just so fucking weak. And Ava Raine, oh my God, Ava Raine, she didn't fucking do anything. Ava Raine didn't fucking do anything in this match. She clearly is not ready. Thea Hale's actually pretty decent. Thea Hale is not bad in the ring. She actually did some decent material in this match. But Ava Raine, no. We need to get Ava Raine as far from a ring as possible. She's the daughter of the fucking Rock, and she can't even do a fucking body slam correctly. How fucking sad is that? But I'm telling you right now, back to what I said, we need to make WrestleMania one night again. Stand and Deliver, doing it in the afternoon, it's fucking overkill. It is legit fucking overkill, and it legitimately burns everyone out. For half these matches, the crowd was dead at Stand and Deliver. WrestleMania needs to be moved to one night, Sunday, 8 matches across 3 hours and 50 minutes to 4 hours, and Stand and Deliver needs to be put back on a Saturday night at 8 p.m., not at 1 p.m., because for 1 p.m., if you're doing it on the West Coast, it's 10 a.m. over there. People are not going to wake up at 10 a.m. in the morning and be lively for a wrestling show. This shit for WrestleMania weekend is overkill. Get rid of the 2-night WrestleMania, make it one night again, and make Stand and Deliver on Saturday night at 8 p.m., and everything will work out a hell of a lot better for everyone. No more 2-night WrestleMania. No more. So, in the end, with this match, Duke Hudson, he teased joining the Schism. He actually took off the Andre Chase U shirt, put on a Schism shirt, standed side by side with Schism. Then he ripped the Schism shirt off like Hulk Hogan style. And then we got a big brawl, which resulted in some double team action, double team flatliner. And Chase U ends up retaining the rights to their school. Chase U remains in control. And that was it. A nothing 8-person tag. I didn't give a shit. I don't understand why anyone would give a shit. That was pretty much it. And goodbye. That was it. That was the pre-show match. No one gave a shit. Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell, Tiffany Stratton, Gigi Dolan, Lyra Valkyria, Roxanne Perez ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship. I really don't understand why Roxanne Perez actually teased dropping the championship, and then Shawn Michaels came back and made it a title defense, which I'm actually happy that Roxanne did not lose the championship like that. That was actually much better than I anticipated. But ladder match we got over here, couple of decent spots here and there, but ultimately, I mean, if we're going to compare it to the 2 ladder matches that we saw this month, if we compare it to the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and then we compare it to the Reach for the Sky ladder match, this ladder match was very tame, very lackluster. It was unmemorable. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible, but it was very, very unmemorable. Tiffany Stratton was the MVP of this match, as she usually is. Tiffany Stratton may be the MVP of the women's division, period. She took some nasty bumps in this match. One of them was a spine buster on a ladder. Lyra Valkyria was actually pretty decent in this match as well, so shout out to Lyra Valkyria. We had a spot where Zoe Stark cross-bodied Lyra Valkyria onto a ladder. Tiffany with a rolling senton to Gigi on the ladder. We had Perez going up. Gigi Dolan then slung Perez into a ladder. Lyra Valkyria drop-kicked Zoe off the apron onto Indy Hartwell onto another ladder. All of a sudden, Gigi Dolan was going up. And JC Jane came back and shoved Gigi off the ladder onto a ladder bridge. Gigi was out. So JC and Gigi, they are continuing their feud. I don't give a shit because both of those women are not very good at all. Tiffany Stratton went up. Tiffany Stratton was shoved off the ladder. She did a somersault onto a pile of women and nobody caught her. Somersault onto a pile of women and nobody caught her. Nobody caught her whatsoever. She just went fucking splat. So I'm telling you, Tiffany Stratton better get a fucking pay raise. All of a sudden, Dexter Lumis comes out of nowhere. Dexter Lumis comes out of nowhere and helps Indy Hartwell climb the ladder, and Indy Hartwell becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. My question here is, why? That's my question. I don't understand why. Why did Indy Hartwell win this match? Now, I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm saying. I don't mind Indy. I like Indy. But I want you guys to legitimately ask yourself here, does Indy Hartwell feel important? Does she feel like a major star? Does she feel like the woman that we should be investing our time in? Because if you ask me, I don't feel that way whatsoever. Indy Hartwell, if you ask me, Indy Hartwell feels like an afterthought. Indy Hartwell, to me, is blah. She's just there. And on top of that, I don't remember any major standout performances from Indy Hartwell in singles action. I don't feel like Indy Hartwell is the woman to carry a division. I don't understand why you took the title off of Roxanne Perez 4 months after she won it. You took the title off of Roxanne Perez. She's been champion for 4 months, and now here she is. She's already lost it. I don't understand why you took the title off of her. If you had to take the title off of her and you wanted a new champion to be crowned, you should have given it to Stratton. If you wanted a new champion to be crowned, you should have given it to Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton was the only other option in this match, minus Roxanne Perez, that actually would have made sense and that would have actually made for a great champion to be represented on Tuesday nights. I do not understand whatsoever why they gave it to Indy. That right there was probably, if you ask me, that pissed me off more than anything else in the last week. When it comes to wrestling, and they've made some shit decisions. Tony Khan's made some wonky decisions, but holy shit, Shawn Michaels is on another level of bad when it comes to NXT. That was a terrible fucking call to give Indy Hartwell the win. Matter of fact, Indy Hartwell merely won. This was all done to get a moment with Dexter Lumis on WrestleMania weekend. And to be quite honest with you, that right there, that's just shit booking all around. You don't book for just a one-off moment that's not going to mean anything by the end of this weekend. You book for the future, and you book with your best possible foot forward. Why did Indy Hartwell win? Just to get a pop with Dexter Lumis? Just to get a pop with fucking Dexter Lumis? Stupid. Stupid. Unbelievably stupid. Unbelievably stupid. Roxanne Perez, if you ask me, should have never lost the championship. Roxanne should have retained here with Tiffany Stratton being knocked off the ladder last. And we should have had Roxanne Perez and Tiffany Stratton in a one-on-one match built towards the next NXT Premium Live event, which I believe is, it's NXT Battleground, right? NXT Battleground. That should have been the match that you were building towards at NXT Battleground, which is going head-to-head with Double or Nothing deliberately. That should have been what you should have done. You should have given Roxanne a little bit more time with the championship to build towards another match with Tiffany Stratton at NXT Battleground. They didn't do that for whatever fucking reason, because Shawn Michaels is apparently a fucking idiot. Wrong outcome. Wrong outcome. Should not have happened. I don't want to say that all 4 women or all 6 women were clunky, but it was not a memorable ladder match. It was a very lame and a very bland ladder match. It wasn't terrible, but it was mid. It was a mid-ladder match. Creed Brothers, Gallus, Tony D'Angelo, and Stacks NXT Tag Team Championships. This was a rather disappointing match. This was a rather disappointing match. This honestly felt rushed. This match, honest to God, it legitimately felt rushed. Felt rushed. It felt like they just wanted to get this match over with, and they didn't put any effort into it. I really don't understand why you have these three teams, who are three great tag teams, and you rush through a fucking match like this just to get to the NXT North American Championship Fatal 4-Way. Very, very, very weird. Very lackluster. Very disappointing. They tried, but the energy just was not there. It just wasn't there. It was just blah. It was just It was like shrug of the shoulders. Probably it may have been the worst match of the night. May have been the worst match of the entire show. Stacks. I do want to shout out Stacks, though, because Stacks, he's improved greatly. I think that Stacks has done a very good job to improve himself and to really step up his game in this tag team with Tony D'Angelo. So shout out to Stacks. I think that he ain't bad himself. He ain't bad whatsoever. So, Stacks delivered a flying splash off the top before Gallus saved it. We had a Brutus ball, which completely fucking missed. Brutus completely missed the Brutus ball. Julius actually had two men on his shoulders in an electric chair position, which was absolutely fucking unbelievable. That was a great spot, probably the best spot of the entire match. We had a scenario where Gallus was on the verge of winning. We had a double back suplex by Tony D'Angelo and Stacks. All of a sudden, Joe Coffey returned, saved it, clothesline to Tony, double team action by Gallus on Stacks, and they retained the tag team titles. That was probably the biggest positive of this match. The fact that Gallus retained the tag team titles. No, Gallus should have been, because Gallus right now is the best tag team for those tag team titles. So Gallus retained, and Joe Coffey has realigned. That's great. Joe Coffey's Gallus great. Outside of that, disappointment. I'll tell you what was a disappointment, though. The North American Championship. North American Championship is probably the best on the entire, and I mean the entire fucking show right now. North American Championship was absolutely fucking awesome. We had Wesley, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough, Ilya Dragunov, and Axiom for the NXT North American Championship. Dragunov went crazy and destroyed Axiom's chest. Dragon Lee came in with a beautiful Tope Con hero. Axiom, I got to shout out Axiom right here. I don't know what happened. I don't. But it's like when Axiom, he was a kid before. When Axiom put on the mask, it's almost like he became a better professional wrestler. It's almost like he became a more exciting professional wrestler, if that makes any sense. It seems like when he was a kid, he was very, 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 very technical. Way too technical for my liking. But ever since he put on the mask and he became Axiom to me, it's like he's turned it up a notch. It's like he's turned up the dial. He's flying everywhere. He's doing fucking somersault planches and fucking 630s. It's great. It's great. It's awesome. I don't know what they're doing, but holy shit. Holy shit. I'm loving what Axiom is doing right now. I think Axiom was the MVP of this match. He actually outshined Dragon Lee. I don't know why. It seems as though Dragon Lee, they didn't allow Dragon Lee to do what he normally does. I don't know if they wanted to save what he can do. I'm not sure if he wanted to, just take it easy because it was his first match or if he was nervous or whatever. But, I mean, holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, Axiom. Axiom was one of the MVPs of this entire show. So, Wesley mixed it up a little bit with Dragunov. Devlin and Dragunov, or JD McDonough, excuse me. McDonough and Dragunov mixed it up a bit. Axiom came in. Dragunov was slightly bleeding from his head. He just became unhinged, suplexing people left and right. A Constantine special. Death Valley Driver into Dragon Lee into the corner. Diving senton on West. Axiom came in. A beautiful moonsault onto JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov. Wesley and Dragon Lee were then on the top rope. Wesley with a double stomp. And it looked like he really hurt his leg, but he came back to finish the match. DDT on Ilya and a clothesline on JD by Axiom. Double Northern Lights, super kick to McDonough. Sleeper by Dragon Lee. We had a power bomb by Dragunov onto Axiom, onto a pile. It was like a all stacked up into a pile. Wesley broke it up with a fucking spiral tap. Big enziguri on West, headbutt by Axiom. Dragon Lee was caught with a lariat. Sit out, powerbomb, Dragon Lee. West kicked out. Axiom with a beautiful moonsault DDT. JD kicked out. Ilya with a superplex and a big forearm to Axiom. Wesley and Dragon Lee saved it. All of a sudden, we had a simultaneous Torpedo Moscow and a cardiac kick at the same time. It was a Torpedo Moscow to Dragon Lee combined with a cardiac kick to Ilya Dragunov in perfect synchronization by Ilya and Wesley. And it ends up with Wesley retaining the NXT North American Championship, which I'm a little surprised about, but at the same point in time, I really can't shit on this whatsoever. And in the end, I actually thought that this was absolutely fantastic. One of the best matches of the entire weekend. And Wesley, I thought that he was losing it, but apparently not. Wesley right now, he is on the run of his life. Wesley is on the run of his life right now, and I could not be happier for Wesley. And I honestly do believe that Wesley overcoming all of the naysayers when they said his career was virtually dead after they unjustifiably released Nash Carter, that right there, it makes me very happy to know that Wesley is succeeding. It really, really does, and I'm very, very happy for him. Who takes that title off of Wesley? I don't know. It really is an open field. But I'm very much loving what Wesley is doing. I think Wesley has really proved himself to be a great hand, and there are big things in Wesley's future. This was the match of the show for me. Grayson Waller versus Johnny Gargano, unsanctioned match. This was excellent. Excellent, 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 excellent. Easily the best match on the show and the best match of Grayson Waller's life. Easily the best match of Grayson Waller's life. And Grayson Waller, I'm telling you, Grayson Waller, if you have not bought into what Grayson Waller is now, I don't know how you're ever going to, because I'm telling you, Grayson Waller is an absolute fucking stud at what he does. Grayson Waller is awesome. Grayson Waller is great, and he deserves all the fucking respect in the world. Grayson Waller is fucking great at what he does. So Gargano went right after Waller. This was crazy. They were bringing in chairs and trash cans and kendo sticks. Johnny Gargano, he had Grayson Waller on the apron, and Gargano suplexed Grayson Waller onto a bed of steel chairs. Both of them crashed and burned. Grayson Waller came back by powerbombing Johnny Gargano through a table. Grayson then took a kendo stick and beat down Johnny Gargano. All of a sudden, we had Grayson Waller with a leaping kill switch onto Gargano. This was after. This was after we had a scenario where Grayson Waller was trash-talking Gargano's wife and kid. Grayson Waller was trash-talking Gargano's wife and kid. And Grayson Waller made Quill cry, which I laughed at. He made Quill cry. Candice came in and just whacked the shit out of Grayson Waller with a kendo stick. He then trash can on Gargano's head, did Waller, and delivered a fucking coast to coast, beautifully done. Gargano kicked out. Gargano was then on the table with a chair. Waller went up top. Waller was hit with a chair right in his head. Gargano then powerbombed Waller through the table. Waller then hit Gargano with a low blow, stunner in the ring. Gargano kicked out. He then beat Johnny senseless with a chair over and over and over again. All of a sudden, Grayson Waller was then caught with a chair around his neck. And then so Gargano put a chair around Grayson Waller's neck, and then he hit the chair around Grayson Waller's neck with another chair. He then locked Grayson Waller in the Gargano escape, and Waller ends up tapping out. Kind of shocked that Gargano got the win here. I would have actually given it to Grayson, but in the end, Gargano and Grayson Waller, excellent match. Easily the best match of Grayson Waller's life and the best match of the entire show. Great stuff. Great stuff. And that was it. So props to both of those two men. Two bangers, which easily, those two matches saved the show. Those two matches saved the show by far. And Grayson Waller, if you ain't buying into Grayson Waller now, I think it's about time that a lot of people start buying into Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller is fucking awesome. Grayson Waller is a beast. He is awesome. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Kiana James and Fallon Henley, NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Who cares? Who cares? The NXT Women's Tag Team division is lame. There should be no such thing as NXT Women's Tag Team titles. There should be no such thing as Women's Tag Team titles, period. There should be no such thing as Women's Tag Team titles, period. And the fact that there are is actually kind of stupid. The fact that there are is kind of stupid to me, kind of pathetic. I do not like it. I don't like it at all. I do not believe that we need them. And it really hampers the women's division, and it makes the cards on these shows. It really makes the card worse. Crowd was dead. And on top of that, if people really who's cheating on Brooks Jensen, who is Kiana James cheating on Brooks Jensen with, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I do not give a single shit. I don't understand why we need to go through these fucking lame-ass storylines. The best romance storyline that we've had in WWE was probably this Mandy Rose storyline. It's fucking retarded. It is legit retarded. I don't care. Unless I am going to see Kiana James in minimal clothing and reenacting a scene from Browsers with Brooks Jensen, I don't care about this storyline. I don't. This should not be a thing. We need to get Kiana James away from this shit, and we need to push Kiana James based on her talent, based on how far she's come, based on how good she is in the ring. We need to get rid of the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. We have new champions. Kiana James, she wanted Brooks Jensen to give her pocketbook because she wanted to use it. Brooks Jensen did not do it, and in the end, we caught a backstabber by Isla Dawn and a swanton bomb by Alba Fire. Brooks Jensen tried to help, but Josh Briggs stopped Brooks Jensen from winning. In the end, new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions are crowned. I'm actually wondering why exactly we even bothered taking the championship off of Katana Chance and Caden Carter if we were just going to put it right on Isla Dawn and Alba Fire immediately afterwards. That right there is fucking pathetic. That right there is just absolutely fucking pathetic. It's lame. It's boring. It's just terrible, man. Really, 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 really terrible. I fucking hate that. I really do. It was a meaningless title reign. A fucking meaningless title reign. And in the end, Kiana James and Fallon Henley hold the championships for a measly 2 months, a worthless 2 months. All for what? All for what? All for the simple fact that we need to enhance the storyline of who Kiana James is cheating on Brooks Jensen with. You should have kept it on Katana and Kaden and given those two a match with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. At least that would have been something decent. This was a fucking bathroom break. Main event of Stand and Deliver. We actually blew through this shit pretty quickly. And I'm actually glad that we got through it pretty quickly because WrestleMania is in a couple of hours. And I need to figure out what the fuck's going on with StreamYard. If I can find something decent that's going on with StreamYard and I can finally get me a decent fucking connection because StreamYard seems to be going to shit right now. Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, NXT Championship. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I actually think that this match suffered a little bit. This match suffered because of the North American title Fatal 5-Way and that great unsanctioned match with Gargano and Waller. I don't think anyone was topping those two matches. Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, they were given the short end of the stick. They were given the short end of the stick because of the terrible placement of these matches and the fact that in the end, the two matches between the 5 men in the North American Championship match and then Gargano and Waller, it was just too much to overcome. It was just too much to overcome. Was it bad? No, it was a good match. Good match. It was a solid main event, but at the end of the day, it wasn't anything crazy. It just wasn't. It wasn't there. So in the end, that was it. In the end, that was it. Now, I do want to I do want to talk about this, actually. Apparently, Braun Breaker's father, Rick Steiner, was making derogatory comments at transgender wrestler Giselle Shaw from Impact Wrestling over at WrestleCon. Now, I'm not sure what exactly happened. I'm not sure how legit that shit is. I don't think that Giselle Shaw would lie about that. I find it kind of coincidental that this is happening on the same day that Braun Breaker is going to lose the NXT Championship to Carmelo Hayes. But apparently this shit came out and now everyone has been thrown into an uproar. I'm not sure if Rick Steiner said that it wasn't true, but here's what I'll say about this. I'm not a major advocate of the transgender community. I actually look at them in a different light after what happened in Nashville. Do I hate them? No. I mean, I don't have any room for hatred in my heart, but I do believe that a good majority of that group, not all of them, but a good majority of that group, they're a bunch of hypocritical assholes. But in the end, I don't understand why people, if let's say that Rick Steiner actually said what he said, I don't understand why Rick Steiner would go out of his way to say derogatory terms like that to an individual that, to my knowledge, didn't do anything to him. Well, what was the reasoning behind this? It's a very, very low-class move by Rick Steiner. Really, a very low-class move by Rick Steiner. I don't understand why, if someone that you don't like is in the same vicinity range as you, you have every right not to like them, but there's no reason to go out of your way to start shit, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up being looked at as the asshole. So if Rick Steiner legitimately did what he did, I don't understand. Well, what was the fucking point of it? Now, if Giselle Shaw said something to Rick Steiner that was not too favorable to him, and Giselle Shaw deliberately insulted Rick Steiner first, then Rick Steiner has every fucking right to go back at Giselle Shaw. If I am a firm believer in, if someone comes at you, if someone jumps at you first, if someone hits you, you have every right to hit them back harder. I'm a firm believer in, if you are going to go out and insult someone, if someone insults you, then you can insult them right back. You give them a taste of your own medicine. That's exactly what I would do. If someone insults me, I will insult them right back, and I will make sure to insult them so brutally that they will be rendered to tears. That's my mentality. But there's no reason for anyone to just, if you're just sitting there doing your own thing, if you're doing your own thing, minding your own business, and you see someone that you don't like, and then you just automatically start insulting them for no fucking reason, that's just fucking uncalled for. Rick Steiner looks like a fucking prick. He looks like a fucking complete jackass right now. He looks like a complete asshole. And in the end, Rick Steiner really kind of shot himself in the foot. He got himself banned from WrestleCon, and everyone's coming out in support of Giselle Shaw. So Rick Steiner, I'm not sure if what he said is true, but if it is true, very low-class move, very low-brow move, and it's quite frankly unnecessary. Completely unnecessary by Rick Steiner. Unless Giselle Shaw said something to Rick Steiner, there is no reason to just go out of your way to randomly insult someone. Stupid. You do not need, if you do not like an individual, then ignore them. Act like they don't exist. Be professional, be classy. If someone comes after you first, then you can go after them. Then you can insult them. Very low move, like below the belt type of shit for Rick Steiner. How many people did Rick Steiner really turn away? I just hope that his son, Braun Breaker, does not have to suffer through anything. Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes, good match, solid, but not the best. And in the end, it was the passing of the torch moment that we thought it was going to be. Carmelo Hayes is the new NXT champion. He should have always won the NXT championship, whether or not whatever happened with Braun Breaker's father happened. Whatever happened, happened. But in the end, it should have indeed been Carmelo Hayes winning the championship no matter what outside factors happened. And that's exactly what happened here. So, match started off slow. Clothesline by Hayes off a springboard. We had Breaker mounting a comeback. Very, very slow early on. Trick saved Melo and the referee kicked him out. Braun Breaker out of nowhere with a tope con hero. Beautifully done. Diving Steiner Bulldog for a 2. Cutter by Melo. Melo then suplexed Breaker from the apron into the ring. That was very nicely done. Breaker then with a Frankensteiner off the top. Both men traded blows back and forth. Hayes with a crossface. Breaker got out of it. Breaker then accidentally speared. He speared Melo into the referee. He locked in the Steiner recliner. Melo tapped. There was no referee. Trick Williams then came in and hit Braun Breaker with the championship. Ref was down. Ref crawled over. 1, 2. Braun kicked out. That was a great near fall. Breaker went for the military press power slam, and on the way down, Melo reversed it into a code breaker. He went up, hit nothing but net. 1, 2, 3, and Carmelo Hayes wins the NXT championship. And this was absolutely the right outcome. This was absolutely what we needed. And in the end, Stand and Deliver was it was an okay show. An okay show. Realistically, if you want to go back and rewatch a couple matches, go back and rewatch the North American title match. Go back and rewatch the unsanctioned match. Breaker and Carmelo Hayes was good, but in the end, the first 2 matches that I just named really took a lot of the energy out of the crowd. And NXT right now, just not it. NXT right now, it's just not there. That's why I don't cover NXT on Tuesday nights anymore. That's why I don't cover NXT on Tuesday nights. It's just not it. It just really isn't it. It's lame. It's bland. It's boring. I don't care. I honest to God, I really do not care about NXT. I don't understand how anyone could care about NXT. The only good side to NXT right now is that they got some of the best talent in the men's division right now, more so than anyone else. Carmelo Hayes is the NXT champion, as it should be. Started off slow. It got better towards the end, but there was no way that they were going to follow the unsanctioned match, and there was no way that they were going to follow the NXT North American Championship Fatal 5-Way. Okay show, but nothing that you're going to go back and rewatch outside of the North American title match and the unsanctioned match. Very, very questionable decisions. I do not understand at all why they gave Indy Hartwell the championship. I don't understand why they even took the titles off of Katana Chance and Kid Carter. Rather bit of a lackluster main event to start. It got a little bit better. Chase U and Schism. God, I hope that feud's fucking over. Ring of Honor Supercard. It was a lot more to come out of Ring of Honor Supercard. As I said, with the ladder match with Mark Briscoe, Samoa Joe, Kingston, and Claudio. I'm actually interested in what we see on Thursdays. It should be very interesting. And Ring of Honor, they're doing some decent material. We'll see what also happens on Wednesday, because on Wednesday we got some really interesting material. We got ourselves the Blackpool Combat Club explaining their actions. We also got the match between Sammy Guevara and Commander. We got 3 championship matches, actually. We got a title match. We got a tag team title match with FTR's careers on the line. We also got ourselves Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson and the FW title with Hook and Ethan Page. But Supercard, great show. Stand and Deliver, nothing you're going to go back and rewatch. But we did get some decent wrestling across both of these shows heading into night 1 of WrestleMania. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this special edition of a Dual Rewind. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned into this stream. Thank you all. Thank you to Dylan and D. Thank you to Hooligan and Raging Girl Gamer. I think that you guys are great. And I honestly do believe that without you guys, there would be no DJ Storms. Kind of pissed off that I still have to deal with this shitty, and I mean shitty, fucking Wi-Fi issue and this just glitch issue with StreamYard. StreamYard has really gone downhill. It started off great. StreamYard is really downhill. I really hope to God that we can move past this shitty StreamYard issue, and hopefully I can get me a good streaming service that will not fuck up on me. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I'm DJ Storms. This has been a special edition, special Dual Rewind. You guys were fantastic. And until next time, who runs the IWC? I hope that you guys know, because if you guys don't know, then I don't know if you're ever going to know. But I think everyone knows by now who runs the IWC. But DJ motherfucking Storms. Don't you forget it, people. And I will catch you guys live tonight, tweeting live for WrestleMania 91.